What's going on, everybody? Jared James here. It is 1 p.m. Eastern. Looks like everybody is hopping in. So do me a favor, guys. Jump over. I believe it's on the right. Let me know where you're coming in from. That's your chat box. I've got a few different staff members who are actually in there who will be keeping an eye on everything. Guys, as I always say when we do these, this is technology. If something goes wrong or something whatever, who cares? We'll just fix it. Chances are if you can't hear things or you're having issues, though, it's probably a connectivity issue on your end. So just log out, log back in, go to a better Wi-Fi location. I mean, we're literally on the quickest, fastest Wi-Fi you can possibly have right now. So do me a favor, if you can hear me right now, just write yes in the chat. That'll let me know that you guys are there. We've got a couple of really quick things to go over, but I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be doing today and really just trying to set us up for 2019. And guys, let me just, okay, yes, you all can hear me. So if there's an issue by anyone else, just know that it's probably on your end, okay? This is probably one of the more important calls we've done just because of everything going on right now in the marketplace and in different markets all over the US and Canada. And it's really going to be more important than ever to be running a business, okay? And so this is a real opportunity for so many of us that I'm really kind of excited about. I want all of you, if you haven't done so yet, and I think either Rachel or Anthony or somebody will go post in there in the comments, you're going to want to go to jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. That link has been sent to you many times by email and other things. If we're able to do a replay of this, if technology works like it's supposed to, hopefully we'll be able to do a replay and we'll have it up there as well. But you'll notice this year that we don't just have the business plan. We have the business plan, we have the digital tracker, we've got the great day, the great week. We've got a bunch of different things that we're focused on because, like I said, it just kind of matters right now. Like, this stuff is going to matter this year, okay? So before we do that, guys, we're gonna get started here in like 30 seconds. I'm gonna do a quick social contest. How many of you would like to do a business consult with your business with me individually, okay? Not one of our coaches, not one of our salespeople, like me individually. What I'm gonna do right now, this is a real risk to see if this works here, I'm gonna post a picture on my Instagram right now. And to be entered into the contest, to do the consult with myself personally, we'll do a video chat and actually talk about your business and what needs to happen. All you have to do is make sure you're following on Instagram and then like and comment on that picture. It's not up yet, so make sure you go follow now on Instagram if you haven't already. I'm Jared James Today, like I am on everything. Or you can just go to connectwithjared.com and click on Instagram. But let's do this really quickly and then we'll get started. I'm not even sure what I want to say for this, but we'll just say, hope this goes well. All right, so I don't know if it's a good picture or not, but we're just gonna say, I don't know how you feel. I don't know how you feel when you're about to go live with 4,000 of your closest friends to do a training, but I'm ready. Let's go. Okay, so I just posted this. Tag people. No, I'm just gonna post it. I'm not even putting hashtags or anything. So here we go. Posting, it's posted. Do me a favor, guys, if you're on here right now, if you want to have the chance to win a consult with me individually, all you have to do is go make sure you're following on Instagram, Jared James Today. Make sure you like that status I just put up and leave a comment. And you could say whatever, say psyched to get going, pick me, whatever you want to say. Hello, that works as well. Do that and we're gonna start entering people and we will pick one by tomorrow, I would think. And I'm gonna close this because this thing's about to go crazy. So we'll leave that alone, okay? So guys, we got that going on. Like I said, make sure you download the business plan, jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. What I'm gonna do today, guys, is I'm going to do things a little bit differently than I've done it many times in the past, in that I'm going to give a thorough update on the market because I think it matters when creating our business plan, okay? So I'm gonna do a thorough update on the market. I want a lot of you to understand that, look, the majority of our students are US and Canada, okay, North America. We have people on here that are from all over the world, but majority US and Canada. And so the updates I'm gonna give are generally gonna be in those places. I'll probably do a lot of US updates and those kind of things too. But I want you to know that if you're outside of that, please know that when it comes to coaching and training and all that kind of stuff, we always look at the specific market when looking at the plan for what it is you want to do with your business, because even within countries, different areas are different. Look, if you're in Canada, Vancouver market is way different than the Toronto market, okay? And in the US, it's also the same, okay? So just know that I'm going to give a general update on the market overall, but in the end, we always take into account where you're coming from and those things. So I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go over your business plan. I'm going to go over your numbers. I'm going to go over a lot of those things. At the very end, I'm going to spend about 2 minutes and I'm going to talk about what we do from a coaching perspective for those of you that are interested. And then I'm going to do nothing but hang on here and answer as many questions as you want me to answer, okay? I'm a little, like if here's the weather, here's me. I'm a little under the weather. I'm thankful to God that I have a voice because I didn't know if I was going to have one as of yesterday. So if you hear my voice crack in and out like a pubescent boy, I apologize. There's not much I can do about it. I'm drinking tea and doing everything I can. I'm all drugged up, so I apologize in advance if that happens. I want to say to so many of you that I've seen on the road lately, so great seeing you, so great meeting so many of you. I don't even get on a plane the rest of the year, which is awesome. It's why my body finally gave out. It's like it knows the travel season's over. But I'll still be in Atlantic City, I think Buffalo, Syracuse. I'll be in Connecticut at the casino next week. Other than that, though, my year is officially over as far as flights are concerned. So I'm a happy guy. Guys, my goal today as we get started here is very simply, it's really the goal of our company too. And that is to take so many of you in the real estate world, really in the business world overall, and to take you from being amateurs to being professionals. And what I mean by that is we have an industry of people who are running around hoping they have good businesses, not really running their businesses like businesses, not practicing, not knowing exactly what to say, not knowing their numbers, not knowing any of this stuff. And when you look at it, look, that works in a booming economy where you can just kind of make it by doing that. When the market starts to shift, which is what it's doing now, it's not going to fall off. Again, I'm gonna go through all this today. It's not going to completely fall off, but when it starts to soften, the pros are ultimately going to win. I love a market like where we're going to, because ultimately now the pros will win. And so what's going to happen as a result of this call today is that you're either going to become a pro and act like a pro, or you're ultimately going to continue to operate like an amateur and just kind of wing things. And I'm telling you, your success is not guaranteed when you do something like that, okay? A pro, the difference between a pro and an amateur, a pro knows exactly what they're doing. They know when they're doing it. They know how they're doing it. And quite frankly, they're paid accordingly. And if I can just be very blunt, and I've never been this blunt on a training with you guys because I didn't want to feel like I was pushing or anything, but pros have a coach, period. Like professional athletes, professional gymnasts, pros have a coach, okay? So something for you guys to think about, regardless of whether that's you or not. You're going to leave here with real value today. And the real hope is, like I said, you go into 2019 really following a schedule and knowing exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, okay? I'll say one more time, if we have any kind of issues or anything technical, just don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. That's just called technology in a modern world, okay? Do me a favor, guys. If you want to, feel free to share on social. Like I said, you can go to connectwithjared.com, connect on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and YouTube. Take a pic of this. Let people know that you're excited about this. Share it with people to get them in here. That would be awesome. But with that being said, guys, let's get started. I'm going to try something a little bit different than what I've done before. And we're going to share slides in a different way. You guys know that I am generally not a slides kind of a person. But I feel like for the first part of this presentation, where I'm really covering in depth on what's going on in the market, it's actually going to be a very important thing for you to see, okay? Again, a lot of US examples, some Canadian examples. Just know that overall, whenever we work with someone, we always take their individual area into account, but it's one of the challenges when you're working with so many people from all over the world, okay? So first off, guys, right off the bat, what we want to know when it comes to the coming year and what you're trying to get is we want to know the answer to 4 questions, okay? And again, for all of you, as long as this technology works, you will get the slides, I'm just right now trying to get your brain to start working and really start figuring out how you're going to fill out that business plan without guessing. And the 4 questions we want to know the answers to are what, why, how, and who. The first thing you need to know is what you actually want. We don't all fall into the same place. We don't all want to be number one. We don't all want to have huge teams. We don't all want to be solopreneurs. We all want different things. And so the first thing that has to happen as we create our business plan is really figuring out where we fall. Do we want to be number 6 in the office, but, like I said, coach our kids' teams and do whatever? Do we want to be number 1? Is that the place we're in? Do we need structure around us? What do we actually want? Figuring that out first is going to create the litmus test that everything else will run through, okay? So what do I actually want? One of the most crucial questions, which you've heard many times, but most of us don't take into account enough, why do you want it? Guys, it's not just, if money is your why, that will get old, okay? Because money, eventually, once you learn how to make it, is easy to make. And once you reach a certain financial security, that will no longer motivate you. By the way, a lot of you say, why for my children? What does that mean? Well, my why is my family. What does that mean? My why, how is that going to drive you when things get tough? What specifically is it that you are trying to do for your family, for your children, for the people around you? Why do you do this? So for example, one of my whys is not just my family, my children, my wife, my children, this stuff. One of my whys is actually letting them see just how freaking difficult success is. Like, my kids live a good life. I'm not going to lie to you. My kids live a good life. It's not like they're wondering if, when the ice cream truck comes by, can we get an ice cream? Like, do we have enough change? Like, that's not our problem anymore. My issue now is making sure that they understand just how difficult success is. Okay. And so I actually need my children to see me struggle. I need them to see me sacrifice. I need them to see me hustle. I need them to see hustle redefined, where I'm red-eyeing home and going to their game and I'm dead tired and I'm running back and forth and doing that's part of my why, is that I need them to see that. It's not just for my family. It's I'm hustling my butt off because I need them to see just how difficult success is, and that's fine. And the third question you want to ask yourself is how? How specifically are you going to do it? You would never, some of you would never do this regardless, but you would never walk up to a gas station because you were lost, ask for directions, and when they said where to, you went, somewhere that way. You'd never do that. You have to know specifically how to get somewhere, which means you have to have a specific target. 2 lefts and a right. If you pass the third cow, you've gone too far. You've got to know. So how specifically are you going to do it? What structure is it going to take? You really need to be paying attention to the fact that 26% of real estate professionals right now are on a team. Okay. Is that where things are going? What does this look like going forward? So the next question is how? How specifically do I get to where, what do my daily activities look like? That I say all the time that you can't have normal patterns and create abnormal results, okay? So what does it look like on a daily basis? We'll talk about that today. And the last question, I keep saying with all of these, almost the most crucial, maybe that's why there's only 4 because they're all crucial, is who? Who not only helps you get there, who keeps you from getting there, okay? This is the time of the year where a lot of you really need to take advantage of your own emotion, meaning that some of you are surrounded by absolute just energy sucking vampires that don't do you any good, okay? Others of you that are on here right now are surrounded by a group of people that, let's just be very frank, let's be very real, they're not high achievers. And look, you're always gonna have those people, because when you have people around you, you're either giving to them or they're giving to you. But if you have aspirations to go higher, you need to look at your inner circle and say, is there anyone in here that helps me reach higher? Is there anyone in here that pushes me to reach higher? When I started reaching new lengths with my own career, I had to look at my inner circle. And it's not that I forgot who I was or whatever. I needed to be surrounded by people who challenged me, okay? So who is going to help you get there? That also includes who's going to hold you accountable. Guys, whether it's our company or another company, I've just gotten to the point that I'm done tiptoeing around this. You all should have a coach. People, look at the top people in the industry, the top people, top teams, they have a coach. Why? Because we don't do all the things that we know that we should do. But when someone's holding us accountable, we do. And where would you be right now if that was you? If you were doing the majority of the things that you knew you should be doing on a regular basis, and you had someone who was looking at you from an outside perspective and seeing things that you didn't see and telling you to turn left because they see ahead. And so all of this kind of stuff, where would you ultimately be? Okay. So it's not just who are you going to be surrounded by, who is going to hold you accountable? These are the questions that you want to start asking yourself, because this time of the year, you'll get really emotional and motivated. But what I know is that current emotion rarely transfers to long-term motivation, okay? So current emotion, how you feel right now, rarely transfers to long-term motivation. Where are you when you're not on a call with me anymore? That's one of the questions that you want to ask yourself, okay? But let's take a look at, when we're forming where we want to go, what that means from a business perspective. Where is the market right now? I'm going to do something right now that I generally don't do a lot. In fact, I don't think I've ever done this on a call, but it's important right now to understand the market, because that's going to dictate everywhere that every action that we take, the kind of marketing we do, what kind of team we formulate, that stuff. So Lawrence Young, the NAR chief economist, came out recently and said, realtors continue to report that demand is there, but that current renters want to become homeowners, but there simply aren't enough properties available in their market, okay? The median asking rent since 1988 continues to go up, go up, go up, go up. And what does that mean? That once again, for the manyth year in a row, buying remains cheaper than renting. And again, this is in the US, but it remains cheaper, which is important for us to understand. The national housing inventory crisis reached an inflection point, meaning that nationally last year, new listings jumped over 8%, which was the largest increase since 2013, and the total listings in the top 45 markets were up over 6%. And what does that bring us to? It brings us to the place that we start to talk about something that really matters, which is months of inventory, okay? Unsold inventory is at a 4.3 month supply, which is up from 4.1. And what we want to understand when we start talking about inventory and those things, I'm going to educate you guys a little bit of how this works, is generally when it comes to inventory, you're looking for about 6 months, okay? That's what you're looking for. 6 months is considered a healthy market. Anything under that is considered a seller's market. And anything over that, 6 or above, is considered a buyer's market, okay? And so First American came out and said the seller's market may be coming to an end. As more inventory enters the market, buyers have more options, bidding wars are less likely, and sellers start reducing their listing prices, okay? So we know that that's going on right now. Daniel Hale, the Realtor.com chief economist, came out and said the signs are pointing to a market where it's shifting towards buyers. But in most places, we're still a long way from that. So how far are we from that? That's really the next question we want to ask. Zillow came out and said, despite all of these market trends and everything else that's happening right now, we're probably not going to see a huge shift like that until we get to the end of the decade. Now, I tell you that, and by the way, guys, again, I know a lot of you are going to ask, you're going to get all of these slides, okay? We say the end of the decade. They did another survey, and they found that 43% that believed that that shift was actually going to occur by 2020, which means what? Until 2020, we're probably going to experience a little bit of a normalized market where months of inventory are going to increase a little bit. Right now they're at 4.3, they'll go to 5, they'll go to 5.5, but you probably won't see that shift to 6 and above until around 2020, okay? So what does that mean for prices? Let's talk about that. Existing home prices right now, we're at 4.6% up this year over year. But again, just like it's different all over Canada, just like it's different all over the US, just like it's different all over the world, you're going to see differing numbers in various places. The Northeast in the US right now seems to be about the weakest part of the real estate economy. And that's going to make a little more sense in a little bit, okay, when you see me go to where I'm going here. So they did projections, what's going to happen with pricing over the coming years. 2018 is about 5.5%. 2019, it's going to go about 4.5%. And 2020, you're going to see an increase of about 4.1%. Now, what is that going to do to supply of inventory? And why do I say, for example, that when we're planning our businesses, that I don't believe there's a crash coming? Like I've heard a lot of people going, there's a crash, there's a whatever. And this is literally my job to be paying attention to this stuff. Like I like to say to people, you're not surprised when a mechanic knows how to fix your car. This is my job to be paying attention to this stuff. But I don't just make willy-nilly guesses by going out and talking to people and shaking hands and going, no, these are good people. The market's going to be fine. Look at a lot of other factors. And let me cover some of the other factors. And by the way, this is good stuff too when we're done with these that you're going to want to be using with your sellers, using with your buyers as you move forward. It's going to up your conversion ratios, okay? So let's look at some of the other data that I'm looking at. So a normal market, we said, is at about 6 months, right? So you can see right there with that dotted yellow line where the 6 months is. And by the way, guys, a lot of this information and everything comes from a company called Keeping Current Matters. They're amazing for keeping an eye on the market and what's going on, and they're like my go-to source for whatever. So if you're wondering, that's a great place, or you can just come to me and I'll keep telling you this stuff. But if you want to find it on your own, that's a great place to go. So the main thing we want to look at, though, is right before the market crash about 10 years ago, monthly supply as far as inventory goes, you can see at the top part of this graph right here, was way higher than it was now. In other words, it wasn't a normalized market, okay? It was an unhealthy market. When you look at today's marketplace, from 2015 through today, you can see that we're under that line. We're not going to the place where there's 10 months, 11 months, 12 months inventory. As long as that inventory stays close to the normalized or a little bit below, that's still a very healthy market. Keep in mind, guys, that when things are just flying off the shelves, that's not necessarily a healthy market either. That's like overcompensating on one end. 6 months is considered a normal, healthy market. That's when there's no more advantage in the sellers than there are the buyers. It comes down to who's the best. It comes down to negotiation power. It comes down to who's running a business. And guys, that's kind of where we're heading towards right now. Beyond that, you see things like mortgage rates, okay? And I think we actually went past that. But distress, here's another one that's a huge determiner of a strong market, an unhealthy market, or a market crashing. Back in January 2012, there were 35% of the actual market was distressed property sales. What do you see today? 3%. So when I'm telling you that the market's not going to fall off a cliff, and I'm telling you that, look, we're probably going to get a softening. It's just not going to be like where things are selling before they ever even hit the market and those kind of things. And it'll come at different times depending on what area you are. This is another reason why I say that. Distressed property sales have gone from 35% down to 3%. Another reason, let's look at things like mortgage rates, okay? Mortgage rates have grown in the last year. They've gone from about 3.95 to 4.72, which, guys, again, some of you are newer in the industry. Some of you have been around a while. That's completely, like, historically low, okay? So don't freak out about that stuff. In fact, if anything, it's a great bargaining chip as far as getting people off the fence, you know, what a price costs at a certain mortgage rate compared to what it'll be in a year. But that's, again, a story for another day. Today, this is not a webinar on or a training on marketing or sales or those things. It's about business planning, but we need to know where we're going, okay? So let's look at projections. Projections show that by the second quarter of 2019, you're, again, going to see those rates falling somewhere between 4.6 to 5.1. Again, completely normal, nothing to worry about. The sky is not falling, okay? But the next one I want to show you is probably one of my favorite indicators, and that indicator is foot traffic, okay? Because foot traffic is something where you see like what's coming. How many people are going through houses? How many showings are happening? So we look at this one right here, and you look at 2017 compared to 2018. 2017 is the darker blue, 2018 is the lighter blue. And what do you guys notice here? You notice that in 2018, while a lot of people think that the market's about to slow completely and is about to whatever, what do you guys notice here about these? In 2018, foot traffic actually picked up, okay? Now, we didn't have September, October, November, December yet when this data came out, but you can see what's happening month over month over month over month. Every single month, the foot traffic was higher, which means what's coming. It means more people are there, means there's plenty of demand, means all of these things, which usually signal a market that is still stable, okay? If you want to take this state by state for our US people that are listening right now or watching right now, this will give you an idea. And again, you guys will get all of these. Pretty much unless you're in Connecticut, which is where my offices are, which is the only place that's weak, every place is stable, strong, or very strong, okay? And like I said, this is, to me, one of the #1 ways that you determine where a market's going or how healthy it's going to be going forward, because it's foot traffic. It's people who are actually out there looking before they pull the trigger, okay? The other thing that we want to keep in mind before we start doing our business plans and we look at our marketing and we look at how to get in front of people and visibility trumps ability and all that kind of stuff is, look, guys, this isn't the call where I'll do this, but all of the keynotes and everything else I've been doing lately, I talk about how 92 to 96% of people are starting online, how much this phone and the internet has changed everything, how much whatever. And then I went, wow, though, our industry where the internet has taken over, it didn't ruin our industry. Like the number of people who have used a real estate professional when buying or selling a house the last 5 years has gone up every single year, which is crazy. Because usually when people have access to data and access to the internet, that kind of eliminates the middleman or middlewoman, which in this case would be you. And so as the internet has become so proficient, we've not only seen that the number of people who have used you has gone up. What else have we seen? We saw that last year, 7% of home sales were FSBOs, for sale by owners, fastest and shortest business opportunities, which is the lowest level since 1981, which is the lowest level in 37 years, which almost doesn't make sense. But what it comes down to is people still want the professional. They still want to work with the real estate professional. They still want to have that person negotiating. They still don't want to deal directly with the buyer and seller, which is completely awkward. What they do want, though, is a pro. And what they won't do is, from a marketing standpoint, they won't change the way that they're consuming just to try to fit the way that you're running your business. So it's all about a visibility race. How do we get in front of people? Now, when we talk about a visibility race and we talk about marketing, you got to know who you're marketing to. So who are we marketing to? Last year, the average seller was 55 years old. The average buyer was 46 years old. Now, you'll notice with sellers, the average seller that sold their home, on average, had their house was worth $55,000 more than what they paid for it. Okay. Now, the reason I'm covering this stuff on a call that's not really a marketing training or anything like that is very simple. Okay. Let's look at this next slide right here. The most common reasons why people sold their home. Number one, house was too small. Number two, to be closer to their friends and family. So why am I telling you this on a training that's not really a marketing call? Because although this isn't a marketing training, although it's a business planning training, and we're going to cover those things, what I also need all of you, maybe I'll do a separate call, which will be a marketing training. What I need all of you to understand is that our marketing and how we get people to us, how we get in front of them, how we become visible has got to fall into what actually matters to people, because that determines the kinds of stories we tell. We live in a storytelling world where what you're trying to do with your marketing is you're trying to create stories that ultimately relate to the people that you're talking to. So if you know that what bothers them or what makes them move or the reasons they move, our house is too small and to be closer to friends and family, then we know from a marketing perspective, it's not enough to just put out marketing that says, get your home valuation. That stuff's necessary, but that's one part of your marketing. You also, when going after people, when doing your descriptions and your write-ups for your properties, have to put things in, tell stories that relate to where they're coming from. So, hey, have you run out of room? Check out this oversized ranch with whatever. Looking to be closer to friends and family. Like, you've got to tell those stories. Storytelling matters so much in a 2018 and beyond world. It's the exact reason why, guys, why do you think you hear me all the time at events, on trainings like this? Why do you think you hear me talk about the industry teaches us how to go to hours and hours of classes that teach us how to pass a test, but not how to run a business? If you achieve any kind of success in this business and get to 50 transactions, you're going to be making money, but you're going to hate your lifestyle and be afraid to go on vacation. Why do you think I tell these kind of stories? I tell them because I know that they're the stories that matter to you, because I know the reasons that people sign up for coaching, the reasons that people stop liking their business, the reasons you need to know the same thing about your end consumer, about what makes them transact. And these are the top two reasons. So if I was doing a marketing webinar, I'd be telling you, look, here's where it is. And the last thing I'll give you on this before we go into the business plan, I figured I had to take advantage of this opportunity with so many of you on here, because so many people have been messaging me lately when they're talking about 2019 and they're talking about their marketing and their marketing plans. And they're going, Jared, I get it. Listings are where the power is. I get it that most people in a listing are also buying. It's a double-sided transaction. We hear you say all the time that you got to have the cheese to catch the mice, meaning that the greatest way to pick up buyers and sellers is listings. That's the cheese that attracts people to you. And by the way, that's not just your listings, that's other people's listings. You're allowed to market other people's listings if you get their permission. You're allowed to circle prospect around an area where a listing is, which right now may be the greatest way to pick up leads, which is old school circle prospecting. You guys know I love the internet. I believe in creating content. I believe in all of that. But old school circle prospecting around listings, number one, it's unlimited. You always have new listings coming up you can circle prospect around. It's guaranteed new buyers and sellers for you if you would just get off your butt make the calls, do the slide broadcast, put the pin on the house and do your digital marketing. Like if you would just do it, it's there every day. Problem is most of us are too busy to ever actually be productive, and it's not a part of our calendar. We'll talk about that. But for those of you that ask me on a regular basis, Jared, my listings are selling too quick. What do? I want to use them to pick up buyers and sellers, but they're selling too quick. We're failing to recognize the 3 P's of marketing a listing. There's pre, present, and post, okay? Pre, present, and post. Your listing should not just be marketed when it's active. Your listing to gain buyers and sellers, to increase the number of appointments you're doing, to increase the number of people you're in front of to hit your numbers in 2019 should come from those 3 phases of marketing a listing. The pre-marketing, that's your coming soons, which in most areas are now you're able to do. And that's one of the #1 ways to create business, because people love properties that are not available to the open market yet, even though they technically are. It's just a matter of whether they get in contact with you or not. That's your pre-marketing. Your present marketing is when it hits the market. It's your new listing, it's your open house, it's your check out your neighbors, and then it's your post. Hey, find out how we got this much over asking in this many days. This means we now have opening for another seller. Like your post marketing, these things, pre, present, post. The problem is, again, when you're too busy to ever actually be productive, what ultimately happens is that you only do things when you have time to do them. And what I'm telling you is that if you're only doing things when you have time to do them, you are leaving so much on the table, it's ridiculous. And the number of people listening to me right now who are not formulating any kind of a team or any kind of a structure or having people help them, and they're still trying to do everything because they can't afford to bring anybody on, or they don't know how, or whatever it is, you don't realize the amount of money that you're actually leaving on the table by not doing things this way, by not having a system in place every single time, by not saying, this is the year I'll get a virtual assistant. And that virtual assistant will have a checklist. And every time a listing comes on in my area, this, and this are happening. And every time a listing comes on, whether it's mine or not, they're gonna circle prospect that area. They're not gonna say it's my listing, they're gonna say your neighbor's property. And a consistent process to be generating revenue on a regular basis that ultimately goes into the infrastructure, the systems, okay? I was telling an audience recently, it's boat before fishing. You got to build the boat before you go fishing. You can't go out and throw a ton of lines in the water with all these different ways you know to create business before building a big enough boat and then say, wow, these leads suck. No, the infrastructure is what sucked. We got to work on that infrastructure. You wouldn't go shark fishing in a canoe, okay? You got to build a big enough infrastructure. And my hope as we start going through business planning here is that enough of you get that and start to go, yeah, I need to take this downtime to create infrastructure, okay? So let's look at now our actual business plan. If you have it right now, you can open it with me. If not, you can go back and watch this later and take a look at it that way. But this is our new business plan. This business plan is not the one that gives you your numbers as far as number of appointments. We have a couple different things available to you now because we want you to be more detailed in the idea of exactly what your numbers are, exactly what your marketplace is, exactly what it is you're trying to get. And this is going to help you do that. Okay. So this business plan, obviously we want all of you to connect and, listen to the, the podcast and all that kind of stuff. It's got some quotes in here. None of us are destined for anything we don't plan for and earn. And guys, I can't stress that enough. You will not get what you want in 2019 because you wanted it. You'll get it because you planned for it and you had a plan in place to be held accountable. That's what will get you there, okay? So here's where you do your 2018 recap. This is where you're gonna get your numbers that ultimately go on your digital tracker, your digital planner, which is gonna tell you how many appointments and all that kind of stuff, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, and for a lot of you, this is gonna be the first time you see these numbers. You're gonna have to do some digging. What was my GCI? What were my expenses? What was my profit? You're hoping that this will be in the black and not the red, okay? But a lot of you won't know till you actually do it. Then you're gonna go through how many closed transactions, how many listing appointments, listings taken, listings sold, buyer appointments, buyers work with buyer sales. This is what we're gonna start using as the basis of the numbers we use on the digital planner in a minute here, okay? Average commission per transaction. I'm not gonna do this in front of you right now. Most of you don't know this number either. Average hours worked week, average hours spent prospecting week. Well, most of you know that one. We can probably take that and just go like that. And so what we want to do though is we want to start to set a plan that goes, here's when I work, here's when I prospect, Here's when I follow up. Here's when I go to the gym. Here's when I meet with clients. Here's when I do my personal. All of that stuff's got to be planned out with some flexibility, because our industry is an industry that needs some flexibility. What we don't want to do is just hand out time. We meet a new buyer and we go, oh, when are you available? Because when you start with that line, you're telling them whenever you're available, I'm available. We want to start acting like professionals, okay? This one's going to start. It's going to be different for all of you. Who's my ideal customer? You guys are after different things. Some of you want buyers, some of you want renters, some of you want sellers. Now let's start to create the story, because this is going to help us in their marketing. Where do they want to live and why? So what's our strategy to get there? What's their age range? What's their family look like? Are they families? Is your area singles? Is your area, a lot of people with in-laws that move in? You need to know who these people are, because that again is going to affect your marketing and how you're marketing. What does your ideal home or condo look like? What does their ideal home or condo look like? Okay. Mediocre patterns don't produce prolonged abnormal success. We've got some testimonials here from some past students as far as what they do. Then we go through a market overview. What's happening in the market right now that could affect your ideal customer's buying or selling experience? Like, what's going on with them? What are the trends we see having an influence on your market? You need to know this stuff. So for example, parents are moving in with their kids. Clients may want homes with legal in-laws attached to them. This is all going to affect how we market. And then this is the old-fashioned SWOT analysis, okay? What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? And all of these, we've made it so you can fill them in right on the PDF. You don't have to grab a pen and paper unless you wanted to, okay? I want you guys to sit down and I want you to come up with, what are your top 4 best uses of time? Like, what do you do best? What creates business? Because as we start to look going forward and we start to say, hey, anything that me being involved doesn't move the needle, doesn't create revenue, doesn't whatever, I need to start working towards removing myself in those situations. We first need to figure out what are the things you should be spending your time on. So when you look back on your year, what has really created business? Chances are it's you being in front of people. Chances are it's you talking to actual clients. Chances are, like, those are the opportunities that really help you. What's the number one reason I've lost transactions? For a lot of you, it's going to be very similar. It's a lack of infrastructure. It's a lack of any kind of a process. It's a lack of accountability of somebody looking at you and making sure you do what it is you're supposed to do. It's a control freak nature. There's a lot of different, but most of them are very similar, okay? If I'm honest, what are the honest individual positive and negative consequences that will happen as a result of me either following through or not following through on my best uses of time? Like, what's the positive? Like, be very honest, guys. Like, positive consequences are you have freedom, you can do things with your family, you don't have to think about finances, you can enjoy your real estate career again, you can not be doing things within your business that you don't want to be doing if you work towards that. Negative consequences are I can't do things with my family that I want to do. I won't be able to stay in my home. I won't be able to stay in this career. I won't be able to. What are they for you? Okay. If I could change just one thing about the way I work, it would be fill it out. Like, write it down, guys. There's something that happens when you write that stuff down that just makes you like, holy crap. Believe it. Okay. Now, guys, I'm not going to read this now, but I really do want you to read this, because this wasn't like my team wrote this and then I said, okay. I wrote this personally to you guys and I meant every word of it, okay? So I want you guys to actually read this at the end of the business plan, okay? So now that you've done that, you're now gonna wanna go to, let me go it here, the digital planner. So this is our digital planner, okay, which all of you should see right now, which it looks like you can. If you can't see it well right now because it's on a computer or you're on your phone or whatever, don't worry about it. It's something we're giving you, but it's very simple, guys. What do I want my goal to be? Let's say my goal next year is 275, okay? So this is meant to autofill. So let's say my average commission was 63.78, okay? So this is telling me I need 43 transactions to do $275,000 in GCI. All of your numbers are going to be different based on what you actually want. The important thing is that you get the numbers for you and you know what it is, okay? So in 2018, let's say that I went on 39 listing appointments, okay? Let's say that I listed 20 of them. Let's say that they sold 19, okay? Tells me I have a 49% closing percentage, okay? This year, I want to sell. I know that there's 43 total transactions needed. So I'm going to say that I want to sell 28 listings. I'll do 28 listings, 15 buyers. Okay. Now, guys, keep in mind, this can apply to you. This can apply to your team members. It can apply to your team overall. I'm just doing this really simple for everybody listening right now. Okay. Now, in 2018, I met with 31 buyers. Let's say that I worked with 25 of them, and let's say that I sold 21 of them. Okay. It means I have a 68% closing ratio. Okay. So this there I want to work with, we're going to say 15 because that's the number between that I needed 43 transactions. I said 28 were listing. So there's only 15 left. So I'm putting in 15 so that 28 listings plus 15 buyers equals the number here, 43. Okay. What this has now done for me, once I put in the number of weeks I'm going to work, we'll just say 50. What this now does for me is it fills out everything I need to know about my year. Tells me how many listing appointments, how many new buyers I need to meet with every month and every week. Okay. So every month I need 7 appointments. Every week I need 2. Really, it's less than 2. It's about 1.59. But if you do 2, that's going to work out even better. Okay. And what does this tell us? By the way, it also says 1,768 conversations needed because it takes 41 real estate related conversations to create a transaction. And so it's letting you know, hey, that looks like a lot of conversations. But if I want to create this many transactions, 43, it says I need 147 conversations a month and I need 35 a week. If I'm going to work 5 days a week, that means I need 7 new conversations a day. And so what we want to be sure of is to make sure that we understand it's not about going, crap, I need 1,800. It's about what do I need today? What is needed today? That is all that matters. And so what I want all of you doing, let me take this down here. What I want all of you doing is I want all of you looking at this and figuring out what is my appointments per week. Because I think for a lot of us, we get overwhelmed by the numbers. We get overwhelmed by how much is potentially out there. And we forget that literally to hit that number I just gave, 2 appointments a week. Like if you're working 60 hours a week, I just need 2 of those hours to be productive with people that are going to create. And what these numbers do for you and what a calendar does for you is that so many people, especially your people, like real estate people, what we do is that we're very much like type A's. We don't like calendars. We don't like having a boss. We don't like having whatever. We want freedom. And what I always say to people in this industry when they say that they don't keep a calendar because they want freedom, I always say, how's that working out? Because it doesn't work, okay? And so freedom actually comes from being structured. Like when you know how many appointments it takes for you to hit your goals, what happens is that you have set times, and we're gonna go over this in a second. You have set times every single day when you prospect, when you create appointments, when you go out on meetings, when you do your showings, when you do your open houses, when you exercise, when you do this stuff. But what happens is because you know that you actually need 2 a week, sometimes Tuesday at 11:30 a.m., you're done. You can do whatever you want for the rest of that week. But the reason why so many of you leave work, go home, and are still stressed out and are working, and you're driving your families nuts, is because you don't know when you're done. You don't know when you're on track. In fact, if I said to you, where are you for this year? Most of you would say, I'm at about. About means you don't know, okay? And so we need to know exactly where we are because of the stress release and because of what that does for us from a freedom perspective to know that we're 21 weeks in and we've done 2 appointments per week and we're on schedule. We're on schedule to hit our numbers. And so it's not about, oh my God, I got to answer everything because it might be a deal. It might be this, it might be that. In the meantime, forget about might be. You are 100% affecting your health, affecting the people around you, affecting we need to know our numbers. And I know that's not what we like to do from a business perspective with the type A's that are on this call right now, but it's what we need to do. My job as a coach for so many of you is not to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you what you need to hear, okay? Because ultimately it's about you getting what you want. And I say this all the time, guys, doing what you love for a living doesn't mean loving every single thing you do, okay? And so I don't like hopping on planes and doing that stuff. But if I don't do it, I can't go do a keynote at your event next week, or I can't go doing what you love for a living doesn't mean loving every single thing you do. There are going to be things within your daily schedule that you don't like. But you know what? Like the teeter-totter of decisions, what it gets you on this side of the teeter-totter ultimately wins. Meaning if I don't do this, I'm not going to get that. And in order for me to get that, which I love, in order to have security that I want, that I love, in order to have the freedom that I want, that I love, in order to operate like an entrepreneur like I love, I got to do this crap down here I can't stand. And that's what a calendar does, is it says, I don't care how you feel. That's what a coach does. It says, I don't care how you feel. This is how you get there, period, okay? And so that's important. But let's look at your schedule now, guys. The other thing you're getting as a result of being on this training right now is, no, that's the wrong one, not that one. Oh yeah, there it is. You are getting this calendar scheduler, okay? And this is what's called our Great Week Scheduler. We do this with all of our students. Let me just make sure I got the right one up. Yep. And this right here, and I've started filling out, so you'll notice at the beginning of this, and again, if you have trouble seeing it, just know that you're on a computer or whatever, it's tough to see. But what we do is on this first tab at the bottom, it defines all of these different things. I think there's about 13 of them or so that we're gonna put on our calendar. And then what we do is we're gonna create our great week. This isn't what we're gonna make you do every single week, but we're gonna create our great week. And so we go over to our calendar right here and we put in all of these various things, okay? So we put in that, you know, right here is where I've got personal time. Personal, and I actually schedule these types of things, okay? And I put in when my client time is, meaning when I'm gonna be doing showings. I put in when my coaching call is. I put in when my morning routine is. I put in when I'm going to exercise. I put in when I'm going to vision plan, work actually like on my business, not just in my business. I put in prospecting and follow-up. I put in practice right before my prospecting and follow-up, because pros practice. When is it that I do these things? And then what's gonna happen is it's gonna create this calendar for you just like this. And it's gonna tell you for 1 week when you do every single thing. And so if I schedule my showings, my client time between 11 and 2 o'clock, what happens is when someone calls me or someone sends me a property and goes, oh my God, I need to see this. You say, great, I've got time between 11 and 2. When's your lunch break? And you start scheduling your time accordingly. So you know when you exercise, you know when you're off, you know when you prospect. You don't wait until you have time to prospect. In fact, let me take this off so you guys can see me. You don't wait until you have time to prospect, okay? You don't wait until you have time to follow up with people. You actually schedule it. Like, you know exactly when you're working, because the beauty is that you know when you're not working. And keep in mind, for all of you, this calendar is gonna look different. Some of you start at 4 a.m. Some of you start at 9 a.m. Some of you end at 4 p.m. Some of you end at 9 p.m. Some of you, like, whatever. All I care about when doing this is that we create our plan and we say, hey, I need 2 appointments a week. Like, Jared, wake the frig up. You didn't hit what you were supposed to hit last year. You didn't make as much money for your family and everyone else that could have created security. You could have a lot of money in the bank. Hey, I was gonna be in coaching last year and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And now I'm feeling the results from that. Wake up. This is all it takes. Like, so many of you watching right now literally saw what I just did and went, I need 1.7 appointments a week to make 275,000. What is wrong with me? I was super crazy and busy, but what did you get done? That's why structure is so important. Like, it's not enough to go, okay, here's what's going on the market. This is the kind of marketing we do. This is how many appointments we need per month. Here's the calendar. What I want is I want every single person on here to do the calendar, do the numbers, create your calendar that has set times, a minimum of 3 times a week when you prospect, has set times when you go exercise, has set times when you meet with clients, has set times when you meet in your office, has set time when you eat, has set time, because here is what's going to happen, guys. So many people who are watching right now are going to realize just how addicted we are to unproductive patterns. That's a wake-up call. So many of you are going to have a wake-up call to how, and by the way, guys, I didn't misuse that word. You're addicted to unproductive patterns. You are addicted to people pleasing and running around for other people. And everything about you and your life and your structure will hold off. We'll get there eventually. It's going to happen eventually. I'm going to eventually hire a coach. I'm going to eventually get structure. I'm going to eventually do all that stuff that Jared talks about on YouTube that I say that I'm going to do. Guys, eventually never comes. This is the time of the year when you take advantage of your own emotion and you go, now's the time. I'm keeping a schedule. And all I want from you guys is 1 week. Make your calendar. We're giving you for free. Make it. Try to keep it for 1 week. This isn't even the crazy time of the year. Try to keep it for 1 week. And I want you to see how far in you get before you finally go, I'm addicted to unproductive patterns. Okay. So guys, today is super easy. Okay. Where's the market? We need to know that. What kind of a plan do we create that takes advantage of that marketplace? Where do I want to go? What's it going to look like? Who's going to help me? How's it going to happen? Whatever. What are my numbers? Break it down to the simple, I need 1.7, I need 4, I need whatever it is per week. And how does my calendar ultimately support me in hitting those goals? Or how does my calendar right now pull me back and keep me from hitting those goals? Okay, guys, I'm going to answer as many questions as you want me to, but really quickly here, let me pull it up. I'm going to tell you guys really fast what we offer. By the way, guys, for those of you that were still interested in that, doing a consult with just me, you can still do it. You just got to go on Instagram, make sure you're following, like and comment. Let me tell you guys just a little bit really quickly what we're offering, and then I'm going to answer all of your questions because I can already tell here that a lot of you have questions. Okay, so let me pop over here to that. And let me make sure, guys, do me a favor. I'm actually going to write in here, 1 second, let me pull it up here. You're going to see off to the right-hand side for any of you that are interested in getting into coaching and actually following through with the stuff that you need to be doing. Off to the right-hand side now, you should see an offer thing where it says click here to learn more. We have kind of a funny GIF there. I'm ready. But when you click on that, it's going to bring you to the page that you see right here. Okay. And that page is basically what we offer. It's got some testimonials for you of some students. Guys, the reason why I push coaching so much now, I don't do it at live events. I don't do whatever. It's because I so believe in it now. We're structured. Like we see results every day from our people where they're doubling their revenue, tripling their revenue, going over 50% on their revenue. More importantly, they're having structures and they're building out structure around them so they're not a slave to their business. Okay. What you're going to notice on this page is we're offering that you can sign up without even doing a consult, gold and platinum level. This is when you look at coaching all around North America, we're extremely cheap. Gold level, the difference between gold and platinum, one is 2 video calls per month live with your coach. One is 4 times live with your coach. One of them, the gold level is $4.99 a month. The platinum level is $9.99 a month. It's the end of the year though. If you want to save on taxes, you can pay for the year up front and get a month for free. Gold would be $5,500 for the year. Platinum would be $11,000 for the year. Again, complete tax write-off, written off completely against your taxes. And that's basically if you take the 12-month commitment that you have when you get into coaching, you get a month for free. You only pay for 11 months. Not only do you get the calls, 2 calls or 4 calls with your coach, they're video, they're recorded, they're sent to you. Depending on the level you're at, you're going to do a personality profile. You're going to do a coaching questionnaire that's going to line you up with the right coach, meaning their personality fits, where they are in the business fits, meaning you want to build a big team. You just want to be yourself and have an assistant. We take all of that into account. So once you sign up for that first month like that, you're going to be brought to a page where you fill out the questionnaire, you fill out the personality profile. The quicker you get those back to us, the quicker we can respond and reach out and start setting you up with someone and actually getting you going. It's the perfect time though. Like literally slower time of the year, let's get you moving. One of the first things we do with all students is a complete financial look and basically take a financial audit. And we usually save you more money than you're spending on us because you're wasting all sorts of money on things that you're not right now set up to use. So this is something, guys, take advantage of it. First come, first serve, it's there for you. If you're not comfortable just signing up, you still have questions. Well, if you just have questions, you can sign up, we'll answer them. But if you're still not sure, you're on the fence and you don't think you're gonna sign up, you can sign up for a consult right there. We also have for people who are brokerages and teams and wanna offer my virtual training to everybody in there, and also have a branded blueprint for real estate success course branded to you and your people, and they all get their own individual access and all that stuff. If you wanna learn more about that, if you're a team, or a brokerage, you can click that, fill that out. We'll tell you about that. And there's all sorts of other options on this page that I'll allow you guys to take a look at. But the main thing that I'm looking at with you guys, we've got our merchandise on here if you're interested in any of that stuff. The main thing I'm looking at with you guys right now though, is, and like I said, I'm like unabashedly, I've never been this, blowhard about it, is just, you guys should be in coaching. I've now seen how it works for people. I know how it works. I know what happens to their business for the people who actually follow through and do it. It's not what coaching costs you, it's what it costs you to not be in there. okay? And what it costs you, not just from a money perspective, but what it also costs you from a structural and life perspective. It's super cool, the testimonials and such that I get to read from people and that they send me constantly as far as what's happening to them. So anyway, let me look at some of the questions that I'm getting in here, guys. Like I said, I'll stick around and I'll answer anything that you want. Rainey, does the information correct? The information is straight from NAR. So as far as if there's any data issues between them and CoreLogic, you got to take it up with NAR. But that's straight from the National Association of Realtors. And by the way, it does change constantly. Like the data and stuff changes constantly. Can we do a marketing webinar? Yeah, that'll probably be our next webinar. Absolutely. For most of us, 1 to 2 deals in a year will pay for the coaching. Do it. Mark, absolutely. I know you're already in. Absolutely. I didn't want to use that line, but absolutely. I mean, we could literally fail with you and it would work. For an agent who's very new, 2 months in, what do you suggest for filling out the numbers? Pretty simple. Go to your broker or somebody close to you at your brokerage, find out what the average is, and then reduce it by about 10%. Okay. So if the average closing rate in your area is 43%, figure it at 30%. Okay. So talk to your broker, something like that. You're going to be averaging in the beginning because you don't have real data to work with yet, but that's the best way you can do it. Okay. If you're on the fence, get off and get a coach. Thanks, Jared. Cindy, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what's so cool is we used to do these trainings and like I didn't have any like backing or like data or coaching students. And I'm just like, come on, trust me. Now we have so many of you that are succeeding at such high levels and it just makes it like super cool. You know, that now you guys jump in and do that. By the way, guys, don't forget, get on the on Instagram here. Okay. Go like it. Make sure you're following on Instagram. Go like it and leave a comment. And we're going to pick someone tomorrow that I'm going to do a live consult with. Like I'm going to talk about your business strategy session. You can ask me anything you want. Okay. Take it from a one-on-one student. You want to do that. Carolyn is the bomb diggity. Melissa, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Guys, keep in mind for people who are in our program, like this is not like fake, whatever you want to call it. The actual students that are in our program, like we polled them and we saw that their revenue increased. In fact, I don't want to mess this up. Transactions increased by 43%. Sales volume on average in the last 12 months increased by 69%. What do you want me to tell you? Okay. Is the webinar recorded? We're hoping it is. We're going to try. As long as technology works, it will be. Prepare like winter is coming. That's exactly right. Guys, I can't explain this enough. In the coming marketplace, those that prepare, those that act like professionals, those who know their numbers, those who have structure around them, those that have a coach that's holding them accountable are the ones that are going to win. Those who don't, you're going to see this happen. Because when you're running a referral-only business, just waiting for your phone to ring and you've got no structure and it's all based on you and you're just going crazy, market goes up, you'll go up. Market goes down, you'll go down. But you'll never actually hit your fullest potential, which to me is one of the greatest shames on planet Earth. Coaching and Donna is the best. If you've only been in the industry for 8 weeks, how do you crunch numbers for a plan? I just kind of answered that. Ask the people around you locally and then take averages. You're projecting income goal. Yeah, I already answered that. How many people are online right now? A lot. Like, I'm shocked that this didn't crash, by the way. Phenomenal business plan. Thank you. Guys, phenomenal business plans, by the way, are boring. The stuff that helps you build your business is the boring, non-sexy, like build the foundation of the house. The part that no one's going to see, the part's going to get covered by siding, but ultimately it's going to hold that house up for 200 years. That's what coaching and business planning and all that does for your business, is that you're really following a plan. Like, it's not just going out there and winging it all the time. It's not sexy. Creating systems is not sexy. Creating infrastructure is not sexy. It's what will hold you up. Okay. On Home Depot, people are wondering what the heck I'm listening to. Now's the time. Get on it. Amazing. But sometimes I don't have time to eat. Heidi, you got to make room for that. Anyone else mind blown? Freedom comes from structure. You know, that's one of those things that I say that I don't even realize. Like, that is a good line. Freedom comes from structure. Nicole, if you're watching, write that down. We're going to put that on Instagram at some point. Freedom comes from structure. So true. I waited and waited and waited to get into coaching. I started today. Don't wait, start. Mark, you're awesome. Let's see what else we got here now. This is some good-ish. I'm going to leave that one alone. Thank you. Let's see here. What are my favorite resources? Guys, believe it or not, I don't read as many books as I used to read. Like we always, so in coaching, our big motto is marry the principle, date the model, meaning that principles are tried and true. Like, getting in front of somebody at the time they need you before a competitor is a principle that remains true. The model or strategy of calling the phone book has changed, but now there's social targeting, direct targeted marketing, whatever. So learning is a principle. Reading a book is a model or strategy. So I don't necessarily read a lot of books anymore. I read some, but I'm still learning. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of YouTube. But guys, most of the stuff that I'm taking in, I'm like watching stand-up comedians and stuff. Like I don't watch a lot of people in our industry because I don't want to take their stuff by accident, okay? But I'm constantly learning and listening to podcasts on leadership and listening to podcasts on marketing and what's changing and listening to podcasts on sales and how to integrate the old school sales 101 with the new approaches constantly. And then I'm just giving myself time to think. Like part of what makes me unique and valuable to you is that I create intellectual capital, but that doesn't happen unless I stop and give myself time to think and just put things together and whatever. So I do that a lot. Thank you. Great stuff. This is why I joined coaching. Do you have any good strategies for taking Sundays off as a realtor? Yes. One is setting client expectations. One is having a structure in place. When you're a solopreneur, it's very difficult to take Sundays off as a realtor. It's just not realistic. When you start to build a structure and now you have buyer's agents and other people that are doing it, and you have somebody who's a contract to close and an admin and those things, it's absolutely easy to take Sundays off because you're not everything to everyone. When you build your business in a way that you're everything to everyone, then yeah, good luck. It's not going to happen. Does this scare you? From USA Today, mortgage applications fall to a 4-year low as buyers exit housing market. It doesn't scare me at all, Amy. Again, professionals are going to win. The carnival, let's spin a wheel and see who wins economy is leaving right now. And I'm telling you guys, my business back when I had my real estate business and was flourishing, went and thrived during a bad economy because everyone else, I wasn't losing listings to somebody's grandkid who had their license part-time. Okay. So no, I don't worry about that. Yes. For conversations, it's new conversations. Do follow-ups count as conversations? Yes. I'm 1.5 years in and I have bad habits. I'm looking at too many things and feel not focused. I'm new in my area and feel that I need to build relationships before I can do most of this. No, that's not necessarily, you do need to build relationships, but you also need to focus. So pick 1 or 2 marketing strategies. Pick that you're just going to do circle prospecting, that you're just going to do Zillow or a Facebook ad, but you have a CRM on the back end. Pick 1 or 2 things and master those things. Just because there's 8 good things out there doesn't mean you try to do 8 things. There's only 1 of you right now. Master those things, then systematize them, then moves on to the next. But as a new agent, if you just pick 1 thing and do that really well and stay consistent, you'll win, okay? But when you try to do a bunch of things, it doesn't happen. Is there any group coaching? Yes, we do actually have for up to 2 people at a time group coaching. Not quarterly payments, it's monthly or it's yearly. Okay, so yeah, we do. Guys, you all should be also on Facebook in our Jared James Coaching. On Facebook, there's a group called Jared James Coaching. If you're not in that right now, great networking, great masterminding, great ideas shared, agents from all over the world. You should 100% be in there. Smaller market in San Angelo, Texas. What is your suggestion for me? I'm a top 10% agent, would like to do more business. Do you find smaller markets still benefit greatly with your coaching? Absolutely, Chase. We have thousands of people. So what we do is we create our plan around whether you're in a smaller market or larger market. We do this all the time with larger or smaller markets. It's still, guys, don't overthink it. It's still infrastructure. Like it's still about your infrastructure, then your lead creation, and your structure around, meaning your team as well. There's always, I promise you, there's agents in your marketplace that are doing business that you're not doing. The only question is, how do you get to those consumers before them? That won't come as a solo agent. You've got to have infrastructure. We do it all the time with people. Wow. I feel like you talk about huge numbers compared to mine. Is that a bad thing? And you know what's funny, Lilia, is that there's other people on here right now that are like, those numbers are tiny. Like we work with some of the top people in North America, and then we work with brand new agents. What we do is we apply or we assign the coach according to where you are, okay? So don't get too overwhelmed by that. Do I recommend coaching for somebody who's brand new in real estate? Abso-freaking-lutely. If you can do it, do it. Like that's how you get started off right. JJ, what's the best way to send you a private message? Send me a DM on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. Instagram. What program do you recommend for circle prospecting? There's a ton of them, guys. You know, whether you're using Cole Realty or RedX or Vulcan, you know, whatever. There's a ton of them out there. Like, don't get caught up in the program. Just get caught up in how you're doing it. Whether it's you doing it, whether you get an ISA through a place like myoutdesk.com and have them doing the circle prospecting and just setting appointments for you. Just figure out your plan. Don't get too bogged down in which program. They all kind of do the same thing. Can we do a training on prospecting? I've actually been thinking about it. Maybe I will. Wasn't C21 bowling in Myrtle the most awesome ever? Yes. Love you guys. Absolutely. Let's see what else I got here, guys. Like I said, I'll answer. I'm sorry if this is boring for some of you. What is the virtual coaching? It's a gateway drug to get you into one-on-one coaching. Virtual training or virtual coaching is our members-only dashboard where it's got our templates, our scripts, our dialogues, that kind of stuff. And once a week, I personally do a virtual broadcast for 10 to 15 minutes out to everybody. So it's super great for that. Gives you strategies, gives you those kinds of things. But it's not one-on-one, meaning you don't have a one-on-one coach. You don't have somebody holding you accountable. That's a completely different level of coaching. That's where you all need to be. But if you can't afford one-on-one coaching right now, get into the virtual coaching and then make it your goal to get into one-on-one. Prospect coaching. Awesome. Will I be at 121? I believe so. I'll actually be with Nick next week doing something. 2019, I will break the chains to being an unproductive pattern. It's such an energy drainer. Guys, I can't explain it. It's like the things that we hold on to because we're afraid. I don't want to grow. I don't want to have anybody help me because what if they screw up? What if my people want me? What if we have all these excuses that are potential downside negatives? And yet look at what you're holding on to now. You're holding on to 100% already downtime negative, which is that you don't have enough time. You don't have enough structure. You don't feel comfortable going on vacation or doing whatever. Like we're staying away from, we're avoiding the things that are potential downsides for things that are already guaranteed 100% downsides. That doesn't make sense. The job of any business is to create new problems, which means that we need to do these types of things and create this type of infrastructure that ultimately creates new problems for us, but they're better and bigger problems. Thank you, Jared. Your approaches translate well for mortgage professionals too. I suggest you to all our realtor partners to follow your teachings. See you at Triple Play. Thanks so much. We have a ton of mortgage people and other salespeople that follow my stuff. Appreciate that. I'll actually be doing the opening keynote at Triple Play, so make sure you're there and cheering me on, so I get a little bit of love from you guys. All right. Is there anything you would recommend doing differently with the calendar for a team? Yeah, that wasn't a team calendar. You guys should have a shared calendar. So you guys can do that. Or what you could do is set up that calendar for your team and say, here's the schedule I want each of you keeping in the next week, which might be differently than yours. So they might have a different calendar than you, but you guys should have a shared calendar where you're seeing what's going on, whether that's through your CRM or whether that's through iCalendar or Google Calendar. You guys should see what's going on. In your closing, you said, create a plan to blank. I was taking notes and missed it. I'm not sure what I said, but all I know is that here's the 3 things you guys need. You guys ready for this? Here's the 3 things you need in 2019, okay? 3 things you need. Number 1, you need a plan, okay? Number 2, you need a set calendar. And number 3, you need a coach to hold you accountable to that plan and calendar. Those are your 3 musts for 2019, okay? For some of you, we may not be the coaching program for you. Maybe my voice doesn't resonate with you. That's fine. I want you to follow somebody who you're actually going to follow, okay? So for some of you, that may not be our program. It may be another one. But you need a plan, you need a calendar to follow that plan, and you need a coach to hold you accountable to follow both of those, okay? Those are what you need for 2019. How does team coaching work? It depends. If you're talking about virtually, like your whole team is in our virtual program, your whole team gets their own members-only access to our blueprint program, which walks them through 11 modules for everything they need to know in the modern day real estate industry. It's like training for them. Or if you're talking about, we have a thing called Premier Team Level Coaching from a one-on-one basis, where we not only coach you, the team leader, but we also, as a group, coach with a one-on-one coach, your team members 4 times a month. And we go over everything that you don't like to do with them, from a training, from a keeping their numbers intact, what are their conversion ratios, all of that kind of stuff. But if you're not sure, just do a consult with us and you'll learn more about that. Thanks so much. This was awesome. Can you give us a rundown? Morning routine's easy, guys. So every morning, I pray, I read, I immerse myself in good content. I listen to good stuff. I watch good video that makes me laugh every single morning. I have, as part of my morning routine, I kind of set my agenda for what it is that I need to accomplish that day, what creates a win for that day, because there's some things that you do every single day, but then there's specific days that I'm like, this is a win. This is what I need to get accomplished today, because if I don't do that, I'll allow other things to get in the way. And it's really that simple, guys. Every day, it doesn't take that long. I get myself in the right state of mind. I listen to the right music. I laugh the right amount. And then I focus on where it is that I need to go for that day and what it is that I want to contribute and what's a win for that day. Okay. A lot of questions, guys. Like I said, I'll stay on as long as I can. Yes, if we can't afford the one-on-one coaching, would the blueprint be a good plan for us to get started for next year? Yeah, I would do the blueprint now and then make it a goal, right? It might be virtual ongoing would be a good one for you too. Thank you for all your help on so many levels. I hope to be a part of coaching in the future. Can't wait till you're in Woodbridge again. Is that like Woodbridge, Connecticut? I'm wondering. Do you feel buying ads on big platforms like Yelp, not Facebook, are worth it? Lynn, every area is different. So I feel it's worth it to try, but every area is different. You'll find a great response in some areas and other areas not. So you just want to try it. That's the nice thing about the digital world today, is that we can test things out and see how they work. And if they work great, we scale them and put more money. If they don't, we move on. The virtual assistant website I mentioned was myoutdesk.com. There's a bunch of them though, guys. Where would I read or watch how to build a team? I know the context, but don't know the nuts and bolts. Well, number one, you get into coaching. We show you exactly how to do that. I did a training on YouTube though. I hope you're all subscribed on my YouTube channel. Again, if you just go to connectwithjared.com, all the stuff is right there. Click on YouTube, subscribe there. In part of our trainings, there's a thing that says how to build a team. Go check that out. That'll give you the step-by-step structure. I'm telling you though, you still need a coach, because a coach is what not only gives you that structure, but literally walks you through the day-to-day. What does the ad look like? Who are we looking for? What's the personality profile? Looks at the people you're looking at hiring. When is it time? When is it, like all of that stuff, which is super important. Do you have any conferences or live events coming up? We'll have our advance we'll announce soon as far as where that's going to be, our yearly event that we do. But then I'm doing an event in Triple Play coming up. I'm doing an event in Buffalo and Syracuse, New York. I'm doing an event in Connecticut next week at the Mohegan Sun, whatever. But my main travel for the year is basically over. After your talk in Myrtle Beach, I did Facebook and Instagram ads on my listing. I got an offer 4 days later. You were right. You can't deny a video. That's right. Much easier to deny a text or an email than it is to deny a person a video. Okay. Yes, you get virtual coaching through C21 affiliated. Absolutely, Martha. A lot of you C21 affiliated are actually in our one-on-ones. That's the goal of where you want to be. Do you believe virtual training will lead to us being able to afford one-on-one coaching? That was the whole point of it. That's why we did it. We've had so many people come through it that then went to one-on-one. What's a good operating budget to have as a beginning budget? Every person's going to be different with that. Every answer is going to be different. It depends on your personal situation. It'd be nice if every person had thousands of dollars up front to invest in marketing and otherwise, but they don't. So the real answer for you, depending on where you are in your life, is to look at in your life through doing a full analysis of your budget is what can you cut out right now? What can you leave out? What can you stop? How many times can you stop going out to eat every week? How many times can you stop buying the newest iPhone? How many times can you stop whatever? Save that money over a few months that you would have spent on those things and then put it towards your marketing. For the group coaching where you have 2 people at a time coaching with a one-on-one student, you have to be in similar places, like after the same things, okay? Angela, if you're looking at doing $500 a month, guys, there's no better start than coaching, because they can show you free ways to market. They can show you how to construct yourself from an infrastructure perspective. Absolutely. Virtual coaching is $59 a month or $5.99 for the year, to answer that question. This guy helped me get my first listing. I think I'm this guy, just so you guys know. And will I be at the 121? Yes. I'll probably be at ERA as well. I may be at Better Homes and Gardens when they have that big Realogy conference. So we shall see. Let me see if there's any other questions. If you lost sound, guys, just log off and log back on. Do farming areas still work? Absolutely. In fact, our coaching students actually get a geographic farm analyzer where we help you determine the best places where you'll get the most bang for your buck and start farming those areas. So absolutely. Do you have any events in Central Missouri, Arkansas, or Kansas? I don't know. I've got to look at my 2019 schedule. I'm not sure yet. Sorry, I just don't know. I got to look. That is where I met him. I hope he comes back. I'd love to. Tell him to bring me back. Any events in Baltimore? I don't know. This is terrible, guys. Guys, call your companies and your associations and your statewide and everything and just tell them, bring in Jared. That's what you do. What are you doing in Connecticut next week? Is it open to everyone? I'm doing an event, I think, for C21 at the casino. I think I'm speaking on Tuesday. I don't know if it's open to anyone, but if you want to come, just shoot me an Instagram message. I'm sure I can get you in. I'll just say you're with me. Do you have an event calendar so we can follow you? My team is going to hear that now. They're going to be like, see, I don't think we have one right now. Okay. Maybe we'll work at doing that for 2019. You know how you know where I'm going? Follow me on Instagram. I always put on Instagram stories, see you soon, blank, blank, blank. See you soon, blank, blank, blank. And I say exactly where I'm going. So that's how you follow. That's how you know where I'm going. Follow me on Instagram. Awesome as always. It looks like we had a lot of people sign up for coaching. Yeah, since Connecticut is the only one that's not on the upswing, do you have special directions for those of us in Connecticut? Mary, just so you know, that's completely normal. This is where I sold, was in Connecticut. This is where I dominated, was in Connecticut. You should like it that it's not on the upswing. The more you run like a business, the more structure you have, the more systematic you are with your marketing, the more like all of that stuff, you will dominate everyone in the area because none of them run like this. They just kind of hope they get a call, hope somebody comes to their listing, okay? Goal for 2019, know my numbers and get a coach. Is the event in Connecticut open to us? Like I said, shoot me an Instagram message. I can get you in. Where do we get the PowerPoint? When I send out the replay, we'll have a PowerPoint. We'll have it on the page where we have the replay, okay? Thank you for all the help. You've been so helpful to my business. I just signed up for coaching, finally. Good for you. I am coming to Buffalo. I'm coming to Buffalo. It's either December 6th or 13th. I can't remember which one, but it's one of those. How about the RE/MAX convention in Las Vegas? Susan, I just met with Amy from RE/MAX, Corporate. If you want me to be there, send her an email, okay? Say, how come I don't see Jared on the slate? Let me see what else we got here, guys. No, I don't, guys. Do I still make business as a realtor? God, no, guys. We run one of the largest training and coaching companies in North America for coaching. I can't still sell properties. It's not possible. Like, it's just, there's only so much time. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Plus my voice, I've got to save it for later, okay? Guys, thank you so much for being on. Like I said, make sure you get on Instagram. Go follow, like, and comment on that Instagram post that I just did for your chance to do a session just with me. Guys, I can't stress this enough. I don't want to come off as salesy, but I also know that so many of you are going to do so much better if you have a coach. So get over there, sign up for a coach, make 2019 the year that you stop talking about it and you start being about it. And you actually, look, guys, I want everyone on here to be the ones who are writing the testimonials next year or up on our stage at the advance because you finally took that leap, got into coaching, and got some accountability and went where it is that you belong to be, okay? So hopefully that'll happen for you guys. Thanks so much. As always, guys, like I said, go to connectwithjared.com, connect on all the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. Stay engaged on those. I love it when you guys comment. I reply to every one of you. You're giving your hearts and your thumbs up and everything. I so appreciate that. Guys, all I want for you in 2019 is you go from amateur status to pro status. You're paid accordingly because of that. And again, I can't stress this enough. With the market shifting, it's going to matter now more than ever that you're actually running like a professional, okay? So do that, guys. I'll be answering your questions and everything. All of you that Instagram me, DM me on Instagram and everything, I'll be answering them throughout the day. We're doing this again at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you enjoyed this or you know someone in the industry that needs this, take that link to register, share it with your office, share it with your friends, get them on here. Let's make 2019 the year that we actually fulfill our potential because we planned for it, not just because we wanted it. Okay, guys? Love all of you. Thanks for being on. Talk to you soon.